How does a boy with a sketchbook become a monster? And why didn't anyone stop it?
Endlich die Bereitwilligkeit in die Zusicherung zu geben, dass die deutschen Streitkräfte...
A child in Braunau. Before the dictator, there was a child. Adolf Hitler is born in Braunau am Inn, a small Austrian border town. On an upper floor of a modest building, Clara Hitler brings him into the world. His father, Alois, is a strict customs official. His mother is warm, protective, devoted. The baby is photographed, fussed over, and swaddled like every other newborn. No one imagines the path ahead. Soon the family moves. In nearby Linz, the boy starts school, plays outside, and fills pages with drawings, buildings, town squares, neat facades. He is not a model student. Teachers call him lazy, distracted. He bristles at authority and prefers daydreams of command in make-believe battles. At home, clashes with his father leave marks, discipline that turns to beatings, remembered by his sister as scenes he endured without tears or pleas. The child who sketches cathedrals is learning to swallow pain and project certainty. Mother, dreams, and the first fracture. As a teenager, he decides he will be an artist. Alois wants a civil servant, the son wants a studio. Then the first fracture widens. Alois dies. The obstacle to a bohemian future is suddenly gone. Vienna calls. He applies to the Academy of Fine Arts twice. Both times, the examiners reject him for weak draftsmanship of human figures and lack of originality. The boy who needed applause collides with indifference. He hides the failure and grows proud in secret. Another blow follows. His mother Clara is dying of breast cancer. Her physician, Eduard Bloch, Jewish, attentive, does what he can. Adolf moves his bed beside hers and keeps vigil through the night. When she dies, he sketches her one last time and carries her photograph for years. At the funeral, he thanks Dr. Bloch and promises gratitude, an odd, tragic footnote in a life that will later weaponize hatred against Jews while sparing this one doctor. The failed artist of Vienna. Vienna, 1907 to 1910. He rents cheap rooms, then cheaper beds. He sells small paintings to get by, rails at gatekeepers who won't recognize his genius, and slides into a late-rising, aimless routine. When the small inheritance runs out, he spends nights on benches and winters in shelters. Soup kitchens keep him alive. Vienna is a loud marketplace of ideas, brilliant, modern, and venomous. Racist pamphlets, demagogic speeches, and newspaper columns normalize contempt. Later, in Mein Kampf, he will claim this is where his antisemitism crystallized. Historians warn his autobiography is myth-making, full of convenient fictions. But the soil is there. Resentment, humiliation, easy answers. War gives him a role. 1914. War. Though Austrian by birth, he volunteers for a Bavarian regiment. The nobody finds a uniform, comrades, routine, and purpose. As a frontline courier, he carries orders through shellfire, dangerous work that wins him decorations and pride. Photos show him thin, mustached, almost unrecognizable, comfortable in hierarchy, certain at last of his value. 1915. A gas attack, a hospital bed, and then the news. Defeat. People he trusted had promised victory. Now the empire is gone. In the shock, a poisonous story takes hold, the stab in the back myth. Germany lost not on the battlefield, but because of traitors, leftists, Jews. The child who learned to deflect blame now finds a national conspiracy to carry it.
Wenn ich euch so sehe, dann wird es mir schwer zu sprechen.
A voice finds its audience. 1919. Revolutionary Munich. Army intelligence recruits Hitler to lecture troops against Bolshevism. He discovers his power. Not dialogue, but monologue. Unyielding, rhythmic, simple.
Du meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich...
He joins a tiny group. the German Workers' Party, DAP, soon renamed the NSDAP. Beer halls become theaters. He practices like an actor, cadence, pause, fist, crescendo, casting politics as a battle for survival with enemies named and circled in red. Crowds swell. A paramilitary bodyguard, the SA, forms around the movement. The message is brutally clear. Overthrow Versailles, crush democracy as un-German, identify internal enemies, follow one leader. The little boy's urge to command play soldiers becomes a national performance. Putsch, Prison and a Roadmap. 1923 Munich. Inspired by Mussolini's march on Rome, he attempts a coup. It collapses under police gunfire. In court, he weaponizes the spotlight, recasting defeat as destiny. He is sentenced to Landsberg prison, where conditions are lenient and visitors frequent. There he dictates Mein Kampf to Rudolf Hess, autobiography varnished as prophecy, conspiracy dressed as analysis, racial hierarchy elevated to policy. The lesson he learns is cold: use the ballot to reach power, and then end the ballot. The ladder he climbs, then kicks away. Released early, he raises money, takes to the skies in campaign planes, records speeches and charges admission to rallies. The Great Depression breaks families and careers. Bread and work, he promises. Scapegoats are supplied on cue. In 1933, he becomes chancellor. Weeks later, civil liberties are suspended in the wake of the Reichstag fire. The Enabling Act hands lawmaking to his cabinet, essentially to him. Concentration camps open for political opponents. In 1934, he murders the movement's unruly muscle during the Night of the Long Knives to win the army's loyalty. After President Hindenburg dies, he fuses presidency and chancellorship, becoming supreme commander. The ladder of democracy is kicked away. Mining mask, a hard fist.
Zu enden ein Schluss. Es soll aber aus diesen Opfern heraus bei uns die Entschlossenheit kommen.
Abroad, he gambles and wins. Troops re-enter the demilitarized Rhineland. Austria is annexed. The Munich Agreement hands over the Sudetenland after a night of signatures and photo ops. At his mountain retreat, he cultivates the image of a genial man of the people, waving from balconies as tourists gather by the thousands. At home, the mask slips. During Kristallnacht, synagogues burn, Jewish businesses are smashed, thousands are arrested, and many are coerced to emigrate. The little boy who once drew tidy streets now commands a machine that breaks real ones. The war he wanted. September 1939. He invades Poland after a pact with Stalin. Britain and France declare war. Blitzkrieg, fast armor, close air support, coordinated infantry, shatters defenses. Poland is partitioned. Jewish communities are herded into ghettos under lethal conditions. Spring 1940, Norway and Denmark fall. France collapses in weeks. He stages revenge in the very railcar where Germany had signed the 1918 armistice and poses at dawn in Paris. Propaganda crowns him an unmatched war leader until Britain refuses to bow. Meanwhile, he loots art on a continental scale, planning a grand museum in Linz. Paintings, for him, often matter more than lives.
Seit dem 30. Januar hat sich in Deutschland eine Umwälzung vollzogen, die in unserer Geschichte einst mit Recht.
Barbarossa and the door to genocide. June 1941. Operation Barbarossa, one of history's largest invasions, surges into the Soviet Union. Behind the front, SS units, the Einsatzgruppen, carry out mass shootings of Jews, Roma, and Soviet officials. Entire communities are murdered in ravines and forests. the Holocaust by bullets. Later, trains will carry victims to extermination centers designed to kill within hours of arrival. Historians estimate that at peak, Nazi killing centers murdered up to 10,000 people per day. January 1942, a lakeside villa near Berlin. The Wannsee Conference coordinates the continent-wide deportation and murder of Europe's Jews. In total, 6 million Jews will be murdered in ghettos, shootings, and death camps. He never visits a camp, but his system makes the intent undeniable. Militarily, hubris becomes habit. He diverts from Moscow to seize grain, industry, and oil in the south. Winter arrives first. Soviet counterattacks drive the Wehrmacht back. He fires generals and tightens personal control from fortified headquarters, trading strategy for will.
The fall.
Stalingrad, 1942–43. A German army is surrounded, and after months of starvation and street fighting, surrenders. The aura of invincibility shatters. Allied bombing intensifies, cities burn. June 1944. D-Day opens a Western front. He bets on wonder weapons, long-range rockets, jets, even atomic research, but none can reverse the tide. A last gamble in the Ardennes drains fuel and pilots. The skies belong to the Allies. Inside, sickness and stimulants sustain a failing routine. Rage replaces reason. Soviet and Western armies close in. He retreats to the Führerbunker beneath the Reich Chancellery. Concrete rooms, stale air, maps that lie. He marries Eva Braun in a dim ceremony and dictates a political testament that blames everyone but himself while clinging to the same poisonous hatreds. April 30th, 1945. He kills himself. Eva dies beside him. Their bodies are burned in the garden. Within a week, Germany surrenders. Soviet investigators confirm his identity by dental records. The dictator's remains are eventually cremated and scattered. What cannot be scattered is the absence he leaves. Families erased, languages silenced, cities hollowed out.
The face of evil.
So how did a little boy become the face of evil? Not by fate, by choices, his and those who enabled him. By a city that normalized hate, a crisis that made lies feel like relief, a movement that rewarded obedience, and a state that converted prejudice into law. The child who loved drawing straight lines learned to draw borders around people, and then erase the people inside them. This story is not about genius. It is a warning about systems. Economic collapse, propaganda, paramilitaries, and legal shortcuts turned a democracy into a dictatorship, and neighbors into targets. Institutions matter only as long as people defend them. Myths are most dangerous when they sound like common sense.